Hi guys, welcome back to The Wargamer. Not too long ago, the guys at Artis Opus got in touch to see if I would be interested in giving some of their brushes a try. As I've heard a lot of good things from other painters about them, I thought I would give them a go. I've been using them for a couple of weeks now in some of my own work and thought I would make this video to share some of my thoughts of the brushes and how they compare to others. So currently Artis Opus produce a range of brushes called their S series, but they are currently running a Kickstarter for their M series as well. Now both series can be bought individually or as small sets of 4 brushes where they come in a wooden brush case along with a small pot of brush cleaner. You have a foam insert for each of your brushes and brush cleaner and a panel which you can have customized with some laser engraving if you wish to. What I have here are the 4 smaller brushes of the S and the M series. The main difference between the two series is that the M has shorter, stubbier bristles, which are intended to give you more control over the brush's point when tackling finer details. For both series, the smallest size is 000 and the largest size being 1, but there are also sizes 2, 3 and 4 available separately from the set 2. Simply put, the smaller the brush, the finer the control, and the larger the brush, the more paint it can hold and the larger the area it can cover. So with the facts out of the way, let's talk about how I found them to work with. I've been using them in a few of my own projects over the last couple of weeks and tried them out on this miniature here to create a worn leather effect to see how well they worked. The larger brush that I have, the size 1, has a good springiness, which is something I value. I find having a degree of resistance in the bristles as you're painting helps maintain control. The smaller brushes, 000 and 00, are a little more specific in their use and are probably better suited for painting eyes or freehand details such as scratches that I've added here. So if we consider the S series to be the baseline, then the M series is intended for areas that require a greater degree of control like freehand work or for painters who prefer a more rigid brush. Again, these brushes, much like their thinner brushes in the S series, are much better suited to the more intricate paint jobs rather than army painting. If I had to pick only one of these brushes, I'd recommend going for a Series S size 1, as it can pretty much do most of the things that you would need a brush to do during normal painting, and being able to tackle layers, glazes and highlights using a single brush is pretty useful. Unfortunately, after only using them for a short amount of time, I can't really comment on their longevity, which, let's face it, is a big factor when it comes to expensive brushes. But what I can say is they do hold their points well between sessions. This was helped by the brush cleaner and conditioner which comes with them. I found the cleaner to be pretty much on par with Master's brush cleaner for its cleaning and preservation capabilities, but it is much more expensive. You're talking £1 per 1ml for the Artis Opus cleaner, whereas you can easily pick up a 30ml pot of Master's for around £6. So how does it stack up against Winsor & Newton Series 7? Well, they're both Kolinsky sable, and they both have a set of longer and shorter length bristles, so it's a fair comparison to make. First of all, we have the price. Winsor & Newton is slightly cheaper for the same brush than the Artis Opus, and even when bought as a set, you will still be paying more for the Artis Opus due to the inclusion of the wooden case. For comfort, the Artis Opus wins over the Winsor & Newton. I find that the chunkier handle of the Opus brushes to be a little easier to hold and much more comfortable to use for long periods of time than the slightly narrower Newtons. In terms of the actual painting experience, I found that for the most part, both brushes were very similar when I actually started to apply paint to my miniatures with them. Both hold their points nicely, are springy enough to give good control and hold a decent amount of paint. This is no surprise, as all of which are qualities that often are attributed to brushes crafted from Kolinsky sable. So what's my overall verdict? Well, the Artis Opus range have some solid brushes, however they're probably a little unnecessary for most people who are simply looking to achieve some basic tabletop quality paint jobs. Ranges like the Army Painter are much better suited, at least price wise, to these kind of projects. But if you're already using Kolinsky sable brushes such as Winsor & Newton, then you probably needn't rush out to buy Opus brushes either, unless you were already going to get some fresh ones anyway. Opus brushes, whilst being more comfortable to use, won't offer much else over Winsor & Newton, but they do make for a good alternative. As I mentioned earlier, Artis Opus are currently running a Kickstarter for their M series, but you can pick up the brushes from their Series S from their web store. I'll include all the relevant links below. Now to finish off, if you only take one thing from this video, hopefully it's this. Don't be fooled by any marketing from any Kolinsky sable brush maker into thinking that good brushes automatically equal good painting. Sure, having a decent brush makes higher quality paint jobs much easier, but nothing beats time and practice for improving your painting skills. So with that, thanks for watching, and goodbye.